My new camera. I've recently bought a new camera and I want to share with you why did I bought this camera and why this lens and what are my plans with this camera. So let's talk about this now. Hi there and welcome to my channel. Tudor Matescu here. I've decided after debating in my head for a long period of time to finally buy a Nikon Z camera. So yes, this is a Nikon Z camera and I wanted a Nikon Z camera. Why? First of all, because of the image quality. When I'm looking online at Nikon Z pictures, starting from Z5 to Z6, ZF and so on, so all the Z cameras, I'm discovering that Nikon has great image quality at another level. So I've thought to myself that yes, probably the Nikon image quality, it is so good because of the mount. Probably you know that the Z mount, it is one of the largest, and also it helps the lens to be very close to the sensor. So I have understand that because the lens being closer to the sensor, you have better image quality, better sharpness. So anyway, I've said I must try it, and of course I've decided to try it with the infamous Pancake 40mm f2 lens from Nikon. But I also bought this adapter that is very interesting, and I will tell you immediately what this does. So an adapter, a smart adapter, 40mm f2 lens, and the body, it is Nikon Z5. Why Nikon Z5? Because I've discovered a great offer and I've decided to get it because let's see if Nikon Z5 is delivering for me. Probably Z6 II will deliver better and so on, and also ZF. But why I didn't go for the ZF? Because I didn't want any compromise. I didn't want the compromise of a flip out screen for street photography and for photography. So what are my reasons to choose Nikon? First of all, we are talking here about full frame sensor. So we have full frame sensor that has greater image quality for me, for my taste, than my Sony A7C and other full frame cameras because of what Nikon is doing. The mount, the lenses, I can't explain it, but they have some bite to it that other cameras, full frame cameras, don't. Next, why Z5? Because it is the smallest one and I was afraid that I will not like it because of the grip. I'm liking especially rangefinder cameras. But no, the camera it's small. With this lens it's staying very well in hand and the grip it's really excellent in street photography for all different types of street photography. The next reason why I've decided to buy it, and I'll tell you my findings regarding this camera after buying it. So the next reason is that it has a flip screen, and the next biggest reason why I've decided to buy this camera and not another Sony camera is because of the silent mechanical shutter. The mechanical shutter of Z5, but also of Z6, of ZF and the other Nikon cameras, it is silent. Let's just hear the mechanical shutter of Z5. Now let's hear the mechanical shutter of X-T5. Z5, similar. So similar, and it's a full frame camera that knows to focus. So the next reason is that I said Nikon knows to focus. For street photography, AFS, IAF, let me see, it will work. I know it's not one of the best cameras for AF, but I've used it on the streets and with some portraits, and I must tell you that it focuses very well with the 40mm f2. So no problems, no real problems in AF, continuous AFS, IAF, so no problems. And I've got fast scenes, I've got fast moves. Yes, from time to time I've missed some focuses, but not a deal breaker, totally not a deal breaker. And I must learn the camera more. So these were the reasons. Now my findings. how I've said I must learn the camera more because it has a very different operating system compared to what I know, Sony, Fuji, and so on. Also, I'm liking the colors. I'm liking the colors so much, I'm in love with the colors. I'm in love with the black and white JPEGs, and I'm in love with the black and white edits of this lens and sensor. I really don't have words how good is the 3D pop of this lens. I know I've said that I don't like this lens, but I must see it for myself because I'm doing pictures in some way. And even if I'm looking online at thousands of pictures, I'm not able to make a judgment if I don't see real world pictures and real world portraits like I am doing them. Because in general, when you are looking on the Flickr river, you will see there lots of bad pictures. Lots of bad pictures. So it's hard to judge a lens when you are looking at bad pictures. So I really need good pictures to judge a lens. Will this lens deliver in the hand of someone who knows to make good pictures? And yes, the lens is delivering great image quality, great 3D pop, great micro contrast, great sharpness, great AF, and all it's great and amazing. But there is a little tidbit. That I've saw it in other pictures, and I'm seeing this also in this lens, the bokeh. Yes, it's a nervous bokeh. It's a very busy bokeh. But other than that, the 3D pop of this lens, it's out of this world for a lens that is so small. So I can forgive the lens for not having a smoother, buttery smooth bokeh. And this was one of the reasons that I've decided to buy this camera and lens, because for years I've looked for a great camera with a tilt skin, with a full frame sensor as a main preference that will give me a 40mm pancake-ish lens that will help me get great pictures. Yes, maybe this lens will not give me the melted bokeh as the Viltrox 27mm f1.2 on Fujifilm. And so what? So what? I don't need it for street photography. I don't need it. So this is what I need. A small, portable, full frame camera that is focusing and it's giving me what I need. Regarding the bokeh, I can edit it, I can work it out, and in black and white, it's really working. So it's not a big problem in the end. Now, regarding the lens rendering, if I want better renders with this lens at pixel level or to have a more organic look, I will use Nik Silver Effects. Use those programs. And I'll make a review with the Nik Silver Effects from DxO Labs and other software that you can use to get a more organic look, or you can use to improve your photography if you are shooting any camera, because they are taking your raw file to the next level. Now, what I've discovered and what I like, picture control. I played just a little. Again, this is my first day with the camera, or the second day, something like this, because the camera came yesterday. And anyway, I have 24 hours. So I've looked at the picture control, great settings. I have the clarity, tones for black and white pictures, sharpness, and different styles. And I know I can use their site to put recipes in the camera. Boom. So Fujifilm and Sony met Nikon, and Nikon did this from my point of view, and this is the entry-level camera. This is not their latest Z6 III or ZF camera, and I am really astounded, amazed how good is the camera. Yes, you have basic AF settings. I would have wanted more customization, but I understand that those custom controls with AF and manual focus are on the latest cameras, but I feel I will not miss them for the moment, because my idea is to sell some of my Sony lenses and some of my Fujifilm lenses that overlap with this lens and get some Nikon lenses. Especially the latest lens that will appear, the Nikon 35mm f1.4. And did you look at that 35mm f1.4? For my eyes, it's rendering like a Leica Summilux. This is what I am able to see from videos with portraits. So we have here a system that can really help us grow. One of the reasons that I've decided not to go with Nikon is that they have big lenses, but now the 35mm f1.4 it is pretty compact, and in the meantime they released smaller lenses like the 26mm, like the 28mm, and so on and so on. Now I decided that I will use, till I will get the Nikon lenses, a smart adapter. This smart adapter, it's made by Megadep. So look here, I have Sony 35mm f2.8 lens adapted with this scene adapter on Nikon ZF. What does this mean? This means I can adapt all my Sony lenses, AF lenses, on Z5. Well, the AF it's working and it's not working. It's not something that I would advise. If you really want to buy a Z5, Z6 II, I would advise, if you have Sony lenses, don't make your buying decision just based on this adapter. I understand that you'll get better results with better Nikon Z cameras like Z8, Z9 and so on, but these older cameras, Z5, Z6 II, will give you AF pretty good, but not very reliable. I must use it more and test it more to discover some settings, but it's working very interesting. With Viltrox lenses, it's blazing fast. With Sony lenses, so on and so on. So it depends from lens to lens, like on Fujifilm. So on Fujifilm, each lens has their own AF tidbits. But anyway, good results with the Sony lens. Now the biggest advantage of this AF adapter on Z5 is that if you have Sony manual focusing lenses, like Loxia lenses, like TT Artisan lenses, or other lenses, you can adapt them on your Nikon Z camera. So it's an adapter that it's working with Sony lenses, but also with manual focusing lenses. And yes, you have the right aperture, you have the right focal lens, and all it's working very well, but not as a native Nikon lens on the Z5. Now you are able to see Nikon Z with the adapted lens that it's for Sony E-mount, the TT Artisan 50mm f2 lens, a great manual focusing lens. So I will have a manual focusing full frame package, small, compact, with a tilt screen. And by the way, I will be able to use my Nikon 35mm f1.4 on Nikon Z. Isn't this great news? So a nice adapter that it's really helping you make the switch from Sony to Nikon without problems. Again, don't expect amazing AF results, but you have some AF that could do the job depending on what you are doing. Also, because I have the adapters for the vintage lenses on my Sony E-mount, I will be able to mount my vintage lenses with this adapter. So now I have access to all my Sony lenses. This was one of the reasons why I've decided to buy Nikon Z5, because I've decided to block my Sony in studio for filming myself. So I said I want another full frame camera. It should be a Sony or it should be a Nikon. I've decided not to go with Sony because I don't want a flip screen and I don't want a very loud mechanical shutter. And I knew that the Nikon Z cameras have a very silent mechanical shutter, but I wasn't convinced from the pictures that I will be able to work with them. They looked big, with the big grip and so on. So I said, the camera is too big, I will not be able to use it, I will not like it. I want a slimmer camera like X Pro C, like Leica, like X-T5. But the real world test showed to me that I was wrong. I'm really liking the form factor of Z5, so also of Z6 II, and I will make in the future comparisons between X-T50 and Z5 and other cameras that I own and use. So subscribe to my channel to see those reviews, give it a like, leave me your comments, subscribe to my newsletter for more photography tips and tricks, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.